I still remember the silence. It wasn't the quiet of peace. It was the silence of a battlefield where the screams had already died, where smoke choked the sky and the scent of burned ozone clung to your armor long after the last shot was fired. That's what the throne room of the Velith Empire smelled like when I walked in. Burnt metal, and the last gasp of pride from an empire that thought humanity would bow. They called me ambassador, but make no mistake. I was a soldier first. Humanity doesn't send diplomats to empires that enslave whole species. We send warnings. I was the warning. The chamber was vast. Pillars carved from obsidian bone, walls pulsating faintly with bioluminescent veins. The Velith were a race that prided themselves on perfection. Tall, sleek, serpentine forms that shimmered in the dim light. And at the center, upon a living throne of coiled tendrils, sat Queen Ithra, Empress of 1,000 worlds. Her crown was alive, a writhing mass of neural silk that connected directly into her mind. When she looked at you, you felt her. A psychic weight pressing against your skull, a demand for submission that had broken countless alien generals before me. But not me. I walked across that throne room, my boots echoing against the glassy floor. My armor, matte black, scarred from the previous engagement, reflected the faint green glow of their biolights. The Velith guards flanked me, spears charged and trembling. They'd seen humans fight. They knew better than to provoke me. Queen Ithra's voice was music and menace all at once. "Human," she said, tasting the word as if it were something exotic. "You stand before the sovereign of the Velith dominion. You wear your armor as though you still prepare for war. Tell me, do you fear me?" I let the silence linger. Let her think it through. Then I said, "Fear isn't something humans are built for. We get nervous, sure. But fear, that's something we turn into fire." The guards hissed, a sound like razors sliding across glass. Ithra's pupils slit thin. "Your kind destroyed an entire fleet rather than yield." Stubbornness. It intrigues me. She leaned forward, her serpentine eyes gleaming. "Remove your helmet, human. I wish to see the face of this creature that defied the stars." The chamber stilled. Every alien in that hall leaned in, eager to see the beast beneath the armor. To them we were myths, feral creatures from a backwater world who somehow clawed their way into space and made the galaxy tremble. And she wanted to see if the myths were true. I didn't move right away. My helmet's HUD showed biometric scans, movement indicators. Every Velith in the room ready to pounce at her command. They didn't understand what they were asking. "Are you sure?" I asked quietly. The queen tilted her head, her tendrils pulsing faintly. "You will obey. Remove your helmet." Her psychic presence pressed harder, like invisible claws raking across my thoughts. I felt her trying to pierce my mind, to dominate as she had dominated thousands before me. For a heartbeat, her will clashed against mine, and then she faltered, because she felt something different, something cold, something that didn't yield. I reached up, released the magnetic seals, and the hiss of decompressing air echoed like thunder in that chamber. And then I removed my helmet. For the first time, the alien queen saw a human face. Her psychic field stuttered. I could feel her confusion. She had expected, what? Fangs. Scales. Some monstrous visage to match the nightmares her species whispered about humanity. Instead she saw eyes, human eyes. No bioluminescent glow, no alien symmetry. Just pupils and irises and the quiet depth of something she couldn't categorize. Something she couldn't control. "What are you?" she whispered. Smiled. "That's the problem, isn't it? You conquered half the galaxy, and you still don't understand us." Her psychic tendrils recoiled, brushing against the surface of my mind, and that's when she felt it. Echoes. The memories. The unfiltered humanity beneath the armor. She saw flashes. A world burning under alien bombardment, but humans fighting on. A medic dragging his friend through the mud. A mother shielding her child during orbital fire. A child raising their hand toward the stars and whispering, "Someday." She gasped and pulled back, her tendrils flaring. You carry death in your mind." "No," I said. "We carry life. But we'll burn the galaxy to protect it." The chamber erupted in movement. Guards surged forward, weapons raised. I didn't reach for mine. I didn't need to. The Queen raised a trembling hand, halting them. She was staring into me, shaking. "You are chaos bound in flesh." I stepped closer, my voice low. "We are what happens when evolution runs out of mercy." She drew herself upright, regaining her composure. "You would threaten the Velith in my own hall?" "I don't threaten," I said. "I warn." For a moment we stood in silence, predator and prey, though she wasn't sure which of us was which anymore. Then she asked, quieter, "Why come here, human? To kill me?" I shook my head. "To end this war. You've enslaved 100 species. You think you rule through fear. But fear fades. It always does. We've learned that the hard way." Her eyes narrowed. "And if I refuse?" I looked up at the dome above her, at the thin veil of energy that protected her throne world from the void. "Then your empire dies screaming." Her tendrils flared again, tasting my intent. And what she felt terrified her. Because I wasn't lying. Hours passed, and I found myself in her council chamber. No guards now, just me and her. She paced in slow circles, her gown shimmering like liquid starlight. "You are unlike any species we've encountered," she said. "Your mind is unshielded. There is no order, no hierarchy, no submission. Just raw will." "That's humanity," I said. "We don't fit into neat little boxes. We build them, and then we break them." She stopped, eyes glinting. "We thought you were primitive savages when you entered the galactic stage. Now we think you are worse. Predators wrapped in diplomacy." "Maybe," I said. "But we're the only predators who build cities instead of dens." She studied me for a long while. Then she said, "You fascinate me, human. Your species should have perished 1,000 times over. Yet here you stand, unbowed before an empire. Because we've seen worse than empires," I said quietly. "We've seen ourselves." Her expression flickered, something like understanding, maybe even respect. "Your words are bold. But your kind has one world. One fragile cradle. Do you truly think you can stand against the Dominion?" I smiled, slow and certain. "We already are. Even now, your fleets retreat from Sol. You can feel it, can't you? The tide turning." Her eyes widened. The psychic link between us crackled. She saw flashes again. Orbital fire, human fleets roaring through the void, battle songs echoing across channels. And then she saw the thing no alien ever truly understood. She saw hope. Not the fragile kind. The weaponized kind. The kind that turns broken bones into victory. By the time the negotiations began, the galaxy was watching. Dozens of species tuned their sensors toward the Velith homeworld, waiting to see whether humanity would kneel or stand. And I stood there, helmet in hand, facing a queen who had seen the face of her nightmares and couldn't look away. "Do you understand now?" "Yes." She hesitated, then whispered, "You are not conquerors. You are contagion. A flame that spreads." "Maybe," I said. "But fire isn't evil. It just refuses to stay cold." There was silence. Then, impossibly, the queen lowered her head. Then let the dominion burn bright, she said softly. Perhaps we can learn from the fire. Peace came slowly after that. Fragile, uncertain, but real. The Velith began to withdraw from the outer systems. Their fleets recalled. Treaties were signed in stars where once there had been only war. And in every council chamber, one phrase became legend. Remove your helmet, human. They said it meant to reveal truth without fear. But for me it was more than that. It was the moment the galaxy stopped seeing us as monsters, and started realizing we were mirrors. Because when the alien queen looked into my eyes, she didn't just see humanity. She saw herself, the part of every living being that refuses to die. Years later I returned to Earth. The cities gleamed again. Children played under rebuilt domes. And sometimes when I walked through the halls of the United Stella Command, I'd see young officers glance at the old scarred helmet I kept mounted on my wall. Is it true? They'd ask. Did the Queen really tremble when she saw your face? I always smiled. She didn't tremble, I'd say. She understood. But the truth, the real truth, she did tremble. Because for the first time, an alien ruler looked at a human, and realized that beneath the soft skin and fragile bones was something indestructible. Something that didn't evolve to survive the galaxy. Something that was made to change it. And when I think back to that throne room, the glow of her eyes dimming as she whispered, "What are you?" I remember what I told her. I told her the only truth that ever mattered. We're human. And that's the last thing you'll ever underestimate.